Courtney, and I am back with a real quick video, and I just want to chat for a minute. First thing I would like to say, this thing's making me mad. It never works anymore. I don't know why I try it. Hopefully it'll hold. So first thing I wanted to tell you guys is tomorrow we will be in the hen house. We usually go at about, we usually schedule it for about 1 o'clock, so usually it's actually at about 1:30 or 2, because we're old ladies. It takes us a minute to get ready. I mean, I might seem like a young lady, but I'm a young lady, or I'm an old lady in a young lady's body. That's why I get along so well with the drama community, because I'm actually an old lady with a young face. I'm like the Benjamin Button of the drama community. Did that make sense? Anyways, so yeah, we will be doing the hen house tomorrow, and that is on Irish Dragon Lady's channel. Like I said, watch out for us from about 1 to 2, somewhere in that area we'll be live. So, I hate it when it gets hot out, or when it's humid. You can always tell when it's humid here, like really humid, because they're too short to be like, just baby hairs, or they're too long to be baby hairs, but they're too short to go up all the way into my ponytail, so they fall down every few minutes. So anyways, I don't know why I'm doing my makeup this late. It just seemed like the right thing to do. Like, I'm literally probably gonna go take a shower after this. But I just wanted to talk for a minute. I'm like seeing a lot of things that I'm really, really bothered by. I think what's going on right now is great, but also terrifying. And if you guys don't know what I mean, Jenna Marbles just quit YouTube. And I know a lot of you guys in my community might not watch Jenna Marbles, but she is one of the original OGs. And she's like the least problematic person ever. And I know she didn't used to be that way, but none of us did. In 2010, 2011, none of us, I promise you, none of us didn't say something that would be considered insensitive today. Because I know that the younger kids these days don't understand this, but probably when my parents were kids and the things that they joked around about as teenagers, I would find appalling in my teenage years, because times change, and that's normal. But to crucify her for something she said 10 years ago, or something she did 10 years ago, and those videos have been privated for a long time, so obviously she doesn't still agree with what she did. Like I said, comedy was a different thing back then. It was acceptable to joke about a whole lot of other things. There was a whole lot of dead baby jokes, which I never thought were funny, but, it's something that people joked about. Blackface in comedy, once again, I don't agree with it, and I don't find it funny, but, at that time, it was funny to make, music videos and stuff. Not music videos, what is that called? Parodies. And when you do a parody, you dress up like the person, and she dressed up like Nicki Minaj, and she darkened her skin, and they're saying that that was blackface. Obviously, it's probably better never to wear, to darken your skin. Just don't do that. In the name of comedy or whatever you're trying to do, just don't. Just don't. Do whatever else you want to look like a character, but don't change your skin tone. For anybody. I mean, I don't care. Just don't. I don't care if you're a person of color and you're putting on, Crisco on your face to look, white or something. I don't know what I'm saying. But just, that's really easily avoided to get caught up in those debacles today, because today it is a bigger deal, and people do get hurt over that. But back in the day, like, it was just jokes. It was all in good fun. And like I said, I'm not saying that it's okay, and I never really found that funny. I thought the parodies were funny, but I never thought that they needed to go as far as to darken their skin or anything like that. It wasn't needed to be as funny. You know, it would have been just as funny without that. So I had to cut this up because beauty blenders apparently are mostly made in China, and I cannot find them anywhere right now. So it's awesome. And my daughter decided to bite mine the other day, and there's like little chunks all out of it, so I kind of trimmed it down to where there's not like a bunch of holes all through it. So anyways, that's why it looks funny. And I'm not using one of the cheap ones because they just aren't the same. These are the Real Techniques ones. I got them last summer. I got a 4-pack, and they've lasted me this all the way until this summer. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to find the makeup lady at the flea market soon, and hopefully she'll have some. But anyways, so my whole point though is like, we have all done shit that somebody could find offensive. Whether it was our intention or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is the other person was offended. And you can never know what is going to offend everybody in the world. It's impossible. Just like I said, the dead baby jokes, that was a thing that was, I don't know why that was popular. Dane Cook made a lot of those jokes, and never found them funny because I've suffered with miscarriages and a stillborn. So I didn't find that funny, but other people did. And nobody had any, Dane Cook had no way of knowing that to me that was an offensive joke because of what I went through. You know what I mean? Does it make it okay? No, but I wasn't also going to, like, you know, throw a fit about it either, because like I said, no, there's no way to know who can be offended by what. And people can be offended by anything you say. If they feel a way, then you can't tell somebody that they can't feel how they feel. So, but I do think it's really crazy because, listen, there are a ton, and I mean a ton, of very problematic YouTubers on here. And Jenna Marbles just ain't it. And I feel like if you go looking to be offended, you're always going to find something. There's nobody in the world that if you look through their entire life, they've never said anything offensive. They've never said anything that could be taken racist, or, you know, because anybody can interpret things that you say any way they feel. It's not about how you say it or your intention. If they take it the wrong way, then they feel how they feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope I'm getting this across as I'm trying to. We just gotta really be careful on this cancel culture, and because some people deserve it. Some people need to be slapped in the face with reality and like, hey dude, like, you're going a little too far here. But then other people, especially like Jenna Marbles, she has come so far from who she was in 2011. She was, you know, pretty offensive in 2010, 2011. Of course, we didn't find it offensive back then, but if you go look at it now, you'd be like, oh shit, you know. But like I said, it wasn't considered offensive back then. I'm sure there were some people that didn't like it. Like I said, I don't really think it was funny, but I wasn't also like clutching my pearls either, because that was normal, you know. And I'll say it one more time. If you go back through every single person in the world's lifetime, there's something that they said, whether it was to impress somebody, to seem funny, even though it wasn't a funny joke, or to seem edgy, or to seem however way, you have said something that somebody else found offensive, no matter who you are. So we really have to be careful about this cancel culture shit, because pretty soon everybody in the world is going to be canceled. And then we're not going to be allowed to like anybody. We're not going to be allowed to listen to any artist. We're not going to be allowed to do anything without judging each other, because you are supporting a sexist. You're supporting a misogynist. You're supporting a racist. And it's just a really slippery slope. You know what I mean. Because you have to go on a case-to-case basis for your own judgments, you know? And I feel like people are being pressured into distancing themselves from people that they love. And people are being pressured into firing their employees, and stuff is just so crazy right now. And I feel like these people are well-intentioned, that are, you know, trying to get people to own up for their mistakes and that kind of stuff. I think that they're well-intentioned. I don't think that they're bad people either. I think that they are trying to make a change. And we do need a change in this world. We do need things to change. But at a point, you go past making a difference and making things better and become exactly what you hate. And I hope that makes sense. I want to give examples, but I don't want my words to be mistaken by what I mean, because sometimes I'm really bad at explaining how I mean, or what I mean. I'm not as articulate as I would like to be, so sometimes I think that, like, what I say gets misrepresented, or not misrepresented, but misunderstood. And that's like most of the issue, is that, like, a lot of things that get called out are misunderstandings. Wasn't really going to talk about this, but this is what I mean. So there's all these Karen videos out there, right? Like Karen, and there are a ton of Karens, and Karens are douchebags, and Karens are, you know, irritating and annoying. But sometimes you have to really pick and choose which people are really Karens, and which people are pushed into a situation where anybody would feel stressed out. So the new Karen video that's going around, apparently a woman cut off this guy in traffic and then flipped him off. And that's really stupid. That's really lame. She shouldn't have done that. Like, that's an asshole thing to do. Of course, you shouldn't do that. But what proceeds to happen is baffling me. He follows her home. He follows her to her home and then approaches her from behind and starts filming her, saying, you're not going to cut me off, or you're not going to flip me off, you're not going to do that, blah, blah, blah. And so she immediately starts freaking out. And she knows why, and it's not hard to know why, or it's not hard to know why she freaked out like that, because she knew exactly what he was doing. She knew what was going to happen. She was probably afraid in that moment that she lost everything. She probably knew that she's probably going to lose her job. She's probably going to, you know, she's probably going to lose her livelihood because she cut somebody off in traffic. Do I think that it's okay that she did that? Absolutely not. I think that, you know, that's an asshole thing to do, and especially flipping somebody off after you cut them off. Of course, that's not cool. And do I think she overreacted? Absolutely. She was acting pretty psycho. But fact of the matter is that he not only followed her home and approached her from behind, but then filmed her license plate of her car and filmed her house and said, this is her license plate and this is her house. And then also showed her face, and then also And everybody is freaking out about her side of the situation. I mean, is this making sense to anybody else? I mean, what she did was wrong, sure, but what about him hard doxing her? That's a hard dox. Since when is that okay in any situation? It's not. And then come to find out, this man has a history of doing this. And not only that, but all he said for the first 2.5 minutes in the video was that she cut him off in traffic and flipped him off. And then when a bystander says, oh, you need to leave her alone, you know, you're at her home, he says, oh, well, she flipped me off and called me the N-word. And that's the first time that the race thing was brought into it. So I don't know what to believe about that part. If she did say that, then she's dead wrong. Nobody should be saying that to anybody. I don't care. But nobody should also be following you home and recording your license plate of your car. What if she has kids in that home? What if somebody comes and throws a Molotov, you know, whatever that's called, through her window and her house burns down tomorrow with her kids inside sleeping? Because she cut you off in traffic. And that's what I'm talking about. These, you know, people think that they're doing the right thing by saying, oh, Karen, this and that. But sometimes you have to look a little further in this situation, because apparently this guy's done this to multiple women. Apparently he did it to a woman at a Chinese food restaurant. Something about a Postmates. Y'all might want to look this up yourselves.